Hello, everyone, and welcome to the P1 Broadcasting Channel. It's Murph, it's Sam, and you know what that means. It's Friday night with the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series, and tonight we come from one of my favorite tracks, and I think it's one of Sam's favorites too. It's Darlington, South Carolina, baby. Avoid the walls, Sam.
If you're a real NASCAR fan, if you're anything close to a semblance of a NASCAR fan, this is the flame. And we are the moths. It draws us in and burns us every time, but I love this place. I love it so much. I really do.
It's a hard place not to love, Sam. The track is old, it's wore out. It's paved with the aggregate from the foothills, and it just destroys Goodyear Eagles. And when they get destroyed by this place, they melt. When they melt, they get greasy, and you will slip and slide and slam yourself into the wall. So just take it easy. But that's not the only thing. The track is oblong, it's egg-shaped. And why is that, Sam?
Well, it seems that there was a farmer who owned this property at one time, and when they were wanting to build this facility, he had a fish pond that he was very fond of that used to be in what used to be Turn 2. And so he told them if they could build it, he'd sell them the property. But the problem was that they could not disturb his fish pond. And so that's what gave it its unusual shape.
Harold Brassington was that man's name, and you can still see the minnow pond. It is at the top of your screen on the left-hand side, just behind what is now turn number 3. That is the short end of the egg. The long end, turns 1 and 2, is the faster end, and that's where you see the large. That's where you see the larger of the grandstands. The problem with that end, Sam, is the wall wants to rush up and meet you when you come off of Turn 2, what used to be Turn 4.
Well, I believe the walls actually have a life of their own here at Darlington, and I think there's many drivers that have learned that over the years. and some drivers have decided to try and take those walls out when they were the metal guardrails. Ask Cal Yarborough.
You know, Sam mentions the metal guardrails. That's where the term Darlington stripe comes from, race fans. And the reason that they call it a Darlington stripe is back in the old days, back when Sam and I were younger men, this place had metal guardrails, kind of like an Armco, and drivers would actually, it was the fastest way around to play a bit of carom pool with the walls, and they would leave, if you did it right, a very distinctive stripe down the side of your car where it had rubbed the paint away. You used to kind of lean the car up against the wall, didn't you, Sam?
Well, it was an art really for some of those drivers to be able to do that and not tear their equipment up. But yeah, it was. There are drivers that were still getting well versed at doing that, even after it was the metal railings were gone and the concrete began to come into play. Some drivers were still quite useful at being able to just barely kiss that wall and get the car to turn in the middle of the corner. So it's just been a mystery just how this thing has played out over the decades.
It absolutely is. You do not want to hit that wall anymore, though, Sam, because that will ruin your day. These cars, the Cup cars, can take a little bit of punishment. You'll see them nick the wall. Kyle Larson, especially, has turned that into the art that Sam is talking about. But in these cars, they're metal bodies, they're steel bodies, Sam. You can't run up and smack the wall. You'll wind up hurting the right side of your car pretty good.
Oh, you're exactly right, Mark. It's especially in the trucks. The trucks in iRacing, the damage model in the trucks is extremely more sensitive than it used to be. When they started implementing some of the new technology and coding that they had for their damage model, the trucks were some of the first ones to receive that, and drivers were finding out very quickly that they couldn't bang these trucks around like they used to and expect it to keep on rolling. Wheel damage is very susceptible to these trucks. Rear end damage is very susceptible to them, and so the drivers have to take care of these things if they.
Trak Race here was having a wonderful battle with Kyle Heath for the lead. I found the wall at the exit of turn number 2, and that
one is brutally hard.
Found the wall and wound up backwards against the inside retaining wall out of the race. Kyle Heath went on to win that one. Klaus Williams won the first race here in 2023. The fastest qualifying lap is held by Kyle Heath. The fastest race lap held by Jamie McKinney. The track record here in the NASCAR trucks, John Hunter Nemechek, 29,392. We are not going to get there probably, although Jamie McKinney did eclipse that during the race. If I remember right, he did not have much tire left after he ran 29,342 here last May. But Sam, that's enough about Darlington and the AMA history here.
We'll have plenty of time to talk about Darlington during the event.
we are going to have plenty of time to talk about Darlington during the event. We are going to go ahead and put up the scoring pylon, Sam. As we do, we're going to play the three guesses. Who's fastest in practice?
All right, let's see. All right, can I get a vowel?
You may buy a vowel, yes.
Yes. Okay. Well, then I would like an O.
You got it. Ryan O'Donohue tops the speed chart in practice. The P that you see next to the names indicates playoff, and that's something that we're going to talk a little bit more about tonight than usual, because we have now entered playoff time in the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series.
Oh, you sounded like Rod Sterling just a split second there when you said, now we have entered, and I thought you were going to say the Twilight Zone.
We are in the round of 10, Sam. Darlington, the next race at Bristol, September 12th, and then the finale for the round of 10, that's at New Hampshire. Right now, the top of the leaderboard is dominated by those playoff drivers. Ryan O'Donohue is quickest. Chad Dulabon is second. Chad Winstead is third. So Ryan and a pair of Chads, then Paul Witt and Chuck Sweeting is a playoff driver rounding out your top five. So look for those P's, Sam. Look for the P's, because those are going to be the ones that the drivers that we want to watch. Ryan O'Donohue, Chad Dulabon, Chad Winstead, Kendall Paul, Chuck Sweeting, Liam Anderson, Justin Osterman, and the Dunwoodies are the playoff drivers.
Just to be sure, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, I think Jeremy Dunwoody is the only driver that actually earned enough points to make the playoff.
He is indeed. So the battle for the battle in points came down between Jeremy Dunwoody, Liam Anderson, and Keith Graham. Jeremy Dunwoody, Liam Anderson advanced. Keith Graham did not, and so that was there were
Liam
two
Anderson
of them.
is another one that pointed into the playoffs.
They did. David Dunwoody did point into the playoffs, as did James Hodgson, Paul Witt, and Chuck Sweeting. None of those drivers had wins, but the cutoff was between Jeremy Dunwoody, Liam Anderson, and Keith Graham, and it was Jeremy Dunwoody and Liam Anderson that advanced. Keith Graham is not.
Congratulations to those drivers.
Yeah, Keith Graham is not here tonight. We have 21 drivers signed in for the race, and that means that traffic is not going to be the biggest of deals here tonight, Sam. But I'll tell you what is.
Typically it will not make that much of a difference, except on starts and restarts. The things get spread out very quickly here at Darlington.
They do indeed. We are going to have stages here tonight at Darlington, and that's going to bunch these drivers back up, Sam. We're looking at 4 stages. We are looking at laps 45 and 90. Final stage is going to be 57 laps, and that tells me they can make it on gas. But when do you come get those tires and turn your truck into a rocket ship? Time's going to tell, and we're getting ready for qualifications here at Darlington.
I see a few throwback liveries out here. At Wagner back in the DeWalt machine.
Yes, they are. We're going to wait. And
at Winstead in a Hot Wheels Valvoline machine.
You know, let's take a look at some of those during qualifying. Here is the weather real quick. It is mostly cloudy, 84 degrees in the air, 100 on the track as these drivers set out to qualify. So, again, just about ideal conditions. And let's have a look at Matt Wagner as he pulls away in the DeWalt Tools number 17, reminiscent of Matt Kenseth. We're going to get the leaderboard up there, and as always, we'll put the driver inputs in so you can see what these drivers are facing as they navigate the Darlington Speedway. It's always going to be a first lap cue here, isn't it, Sam?
Oh, you have to really get a little heat in those tires. You don't want to put too much heat into them, but you certainly want to get them up to a temperature where you can get a little adhesion in them, because the first lap is going to be extremely. These trucks are extremely slippery in the sun anyway. The track temp is not too bad at 100 degrees right now, but you really certainly want to make sure that you spare the truck for the first lap and try and make your hot lap for the second turn.
Yeah, we're watching Matt Wagner do just that as he comes off of turn number 4 under Barney for the flag.
He's going down for some reason.
Yeah, he is not gonna take time. So with that, let's
they serve him to just start over.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's Chad.
Yeah, he's not taking the green. Yeah, he's not taking the green flag yet. So,
yeah, there's Chad Winstead in the aforementioned Valvoline / Hot Wheels machine. There he is, coming around to complete his second lap. Winstead provisionally fastest, 29.734 the first one, 29.649 for the second. Chad Winstead is on the provisional pole. We'll have a look at David Dunwoody here, too. He's in the number 28 admin box machine. You'll note the playoff drivers if we don't mention it, Sam, because they've got the blue spoilers and do love to see that admin box P1 livery on David Dunwoody. He is already third fast, now drops back to fourth, but he's on his hot one, Sam.
We're going to see how fast the difference will be for David Dunwoody here at 29.9. He's already faster, but the track temperature's dropped from practice, and he'll turn a tenth faster on that second lap.
Yes.
Ryan O'Donoghue is already at a 29.8 on his entry lap, and we'll see how he fares on his second lap. See if he gets a tenth or more, he'll be up there with Chad Winstead.
There you go. Right on the roll hoop of Lewis Hayes in the 40 Raceway machine. He's going to come off at turn number 4. Lewis Hayes down to complete his second lap. 7th on his first. Runs a 7:25 on the second. Ryan O'Donoghue just went quickest, 29.553. Say hey, Lewis Hayes gets himself into the 4th spot. Good looking truck for Say hey, Lewis Hayes. And how about Chad Dulabon? Here he is, and he's got a new livery on his truck.
Yeah, Lewis was very excited about the opportunity that he had when he was entering the AMA, and 4D Raceway had actually said that they would be glad to sponsor his truck for the series, and so he was pretty excited to have this sponsor with him on the side, on the quarter panel, on the tailgate of that truck. So it's a good looking livery for sure. It'll bring back a lot of memories, just like Eric Jones did in the Daytona Cup race this past week.
Yeah, very reminiscent of Richard Petty and his number 43, of course. Say hey, Lewis Hayes driving the 43. Chad Dulabon checks in. He is third quick. And that leaves us with Matt Sisler in the 3 birdies machine. Here he is. He's coming off of turn number 4. He's coming to get lap number 2. Sisler's first lap, 29.908. So that'll make him 8th quick. And there's the 3 birdies Toyota as it runs through turn number 2. Get a look out the eyeballs on Matt Sisler.
Yeah, Matt Sisler's actually been on a tear these past few weeks. Just podium after podium. He's really flexing his muscle here in the AMA between the 2 series, the Grand National Series and the Archway Industrial Coating Series. And so look for Matt to try and continue that streak of top 3s.
Yes, sir. Matt Sisler gets, he's going to start up there. He goes 5th quick, and that is pretty much, I believe, everybody who's going to take time with 10 seconds left in qualifying. Do want to thank everybody who is joining us. We've got some of the drivers checking in. Want to keep an eye on the number 13 machine. Donald Green tells us that there is a new driver for Danger Close Racing, and so we'll keep an eye out for them. He's got a throwback on his car. Catherine Beverly, she's here cheering on Liam Anderson. Liam's got some fans, man, and we're happy to have them. But we are ready to get the grid going, Sam. here at
Let's
Darlington.
go.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
do some Darlington racing. I love it.
That's what the man said. We are going to do some Darlington.
I'm trying to see. There was a name that I thought. Crash Neon's back this week. So James Hodgson is not in the field tonight.
James Hodgson is not here. Could have had a family commitment. Matt Wagner texts and says he wants to survive. Everybody here is just looking to survive, Sam. On the front row, it's going to be Ryan O'Donoghue and Chad Winstead. 159.4086 is the speed for O'Donoghue. Chad Dulabon, Kendall Paul, they'll make up row number 2. Matt Sizzler and Say Hey Lewis Hayes, they're going to have row 3. Paul Witt, David Dunwoody are going to start 7th and 8th. Billy Elwell and John Hutchins will round out your top 10. Crash Neon is going to go from 11th. Chuck Sweeting is 12th. Justin Osterman, Mr. Excitement, keep your eye on him, Sam.
Oh, he may have an axe to grind tonight because he exited last night's event a little early. So Justin Osterman just maybe up on the wheel tonight to see if he can get that 53 machine up to the front.
Yes, he will. Justin Osterman is going to start 13th, next to Liam Anderson in 14th. Ken Holland, he'll go 15th in the 84. Andrew Gates will start 16th, and that is the new driver for Danger Close Racing and a fine United States Navy livery on that machine. Jalen Story is going to start 17th for ACM, and there is Owen Simkovich to his outside in 18th. Donald Green will be 19th, sporting the Rowdy Energy drink livery. Matt Wagner will be 20th, and Jeremy Dunwoody is shotgun on the field as we get ready to roll them away, Sam. You better cinch those belts up tight.
I was going to say the same thing. You got to pull the belts really tight on this one. Just in order for Darlington to be a successful, good race, it really requires the drivers to be very respectful of each other on these starts and restarts. There has to be some give and take, because if there's not, you can wad up a field really quick, because it's like Dover, Martinsville, although those are shorter tracks, they are extremely narrow in the racing line. And once a car gets sideways or a truck gets sideways, it can really be difficult to maneuver around them in a corner. There's no room nor time to make a decisive move sometimes. Now on the back stretch, you might be able to, the car washes down toward the infield wall very quickly, or on the front stretch, but not in the corners. So these guys really have to be respectful of one another as they enter into 1 and 3.
Yes, they do. Barney has the green flag in the air. Green flag is out. The Too Tough to Tame 200 for the Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series is on. And they are steaming down into turn number 1. Ryan O'Donoghue gets...
and there's one in the wall already, and once another truck is sideways in the back of the field.
Yeah, that's Owen Simkovich there. He's the truck that got
and we're
sideways.
wrecking on the backstretch. There's several trucks out of control.
Hard impact.
We're still crashing. Oh, wow, that was just way too much to process that early in the event. Wow.
There's the 29.
Simkovich kind of started that in the
So we're going to...
turn 1, but it was the backstretch where things went south incredibly quickly.
Okay, so we're gonna start this with the start. Owen Simkovich, you see him in the green 85. It is the number 13 truck of Andrew Gates. They are already in the wall in turn 1, lap 1. This is right after the drop of the green flag. Simkovich drops down to the bottom, and then you see the 44, Jalen Story. He starts to get sideways, but that's not the problem. Inside the pack, here's Paul Witt. He's going to slam the inside wall. So there are two separate incidents.
Kendall Paul loses it coming off of 4 and gets completely sideways and then turns into the wall in front of the field. But as you were saying, Paul Witt was losing it on the bottom side, just the position behind Kendall Paul. It was chaos there off of turn 2.
Yes, it was. There's Kendall Paul. He gets sideways. He's hard in the wall. He's going to get tagged. Say Hey Lewis Hayes. Meanwhile, Paul Witt goes around on the inside. The 72 of John Hutchins. That is...
I think they were avoiding
Yeah, they're trying to get out of the way. Justin
Yeah,
Osterman is
and then
involved.
got collected with each other.
Yeah, Osterman involved. This is a hard impact for Justin Osterman on the inside. So we're going to show that view. There's Hutchins and Osterman there, and they are already on pit lane, as is Kendall Paul, Say Hey
Oh,
Lewis
big
Hayes.
impact from Hutchins there. No tailgate on Justin Osterman's truck. Kendall Paul's right front is completely jacked up inside the fender, so I don't know. That will be extensive damage repair for Kendall Paul.
It most certainly is. It looks like Liam Anderson got a piece of that as well. And so we are under caution here in the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series at the Too Tough to Tame 200 on lap number 3. Your leader,
Wow.
your leader is going to be Ryan O'Donohue, Chad Dulabon, and Chad Winstead. So the Ryan and the Chads, they get away. Matt Sizzler made his way to 4th through that mess, and Billy Elwell is now 5th. Say Hey Lewis Hayes comes off a pit lane, and he is going to. They're trying to avoid going a lap down. Sam Liam Anderson, Andrew Gates.
Lewis Hayes actually got into Kendall Paul after he got into the wall. He went to avoid him, but he took a lot of right front damage there, trying to avoid the careening truck of Kendall Paul as he was coming off the wall. So that's why Lewis Hayes went into the pit area.
Yes, he did. And it was slight contact, but Say Hey Lewis Hayes, 1 minute and 4 seconds in the box. Lengthy repair for Paul Witt, Kendall Paul, Justin Osterman as well. Liam Anderson has gone down a lap and is just now coming off a pit lane. Andrew Gates is doing the same. And look, we're getting ready to come back to green here, Sam. You might as well get it fixed at this point. We know there are going to be more
this early in the
cautions.
event, yes. If it's repairable, you should get it fixed.
Green.
Absolutely.
Attrition could be a big factor here, especially if the track is this hot. I mean, it's 111 degrees on the track surface right now. It's much hotter than it was during qualifying. So it can be a bit deceiving to these drivers to think that they can run those hot laps in qualifying and come out with 10, 11 degree hotter track, and then something like that happen off of turn 2.
Yes, it can, and there is the weather. 83 in the air, 111 on the track. There is significant wind, 11 miles an hour. Out of the south, we're going to put that away, though, and watch Ryan O'Donohue as he reaches out and tries to race away from the Chad and Chad show. Matt Sizzler and David Dunwoody round out the top 5. Everybody got single file here pretty quickly. Chuck Sweeting falls into 6th. Billy Elwell crashed Neon 7th and 8th. And then you've got some distance back to Ken Holland in 9th. And Jalen Story will round out your top 10. Matt Wagner has not crashed out, Mike. He's still here. He started. Now Wags, the beneficiary of a lot of that mess there. He started 20. He made up 9 spots just in the initial start. So he's found himself a place to run. He's in there behind John Hutchins. He is 12th. And the mark of Darlington, the mark of Darlington as O.M. Simkovich gets way loose coming off of turn 2 one more time, is just survive and advance, really. Sam, you just want to keep the truck clean.
No, it is probably the number one strategy for this racetrack. You want to make sure that you preserve every bit of the truck or car, whatever it is that you're driving here. You want to preserve it for the long run. You want to save tires, save fender, save your nerve. You want to save it all for the long haul here. You're not going to accomplish. The old adage is that you can't win the race on the first lap, and this track is a perfect example of that. You just don't want to push any issues early in the race. You just want to race your race and let everything else come to you. And we're going to find out tonight, just like we have at other tracks, which drivers are the most capable of that, as we have seen in the past. We already know that Chad Dulabon is amazing at saving tire, as well as Chad Winstead, Matt Stisler. Those drivers have, and Ryan O'Donohue for that matter. They're so good at doing that, and we're gonna see how much they have at the end of these runs.
And there we go. We're going to put up our first poll of the night, Sam. Over or under 3 cautions due to contact. I do want to say hello to Deborah Carrington. Thank you so much for joining us, making us part of your Friday night. But get your votes in, folks. Over under 3 cautions due to contact as we watch Chad Winstead follow Ryan O'Donohue. They're going to put a lap on Liam Anderson. He did not get all the damage fixed. Hoping for a quickie caution. Liam Anderson, it didn't quite happen. The same for Andrew Gates. Everybody else remains on the lead lap. But don't worry, Liam and that...
Oh, Beverly, we saw him come back from 4 laps down earlier in the year.
Yeah, it's...
Liam Anderson somehow finds a way.
He's going to be all right. It's early going. But this is a track, Sam, where a lot of people... you'll hear the phrase, and a lot of drivers say it, race the racetrack. Kind of talk about what that means instead of, you don't race other drivers here, you race the pavement.
Well, there's so many elements about this racetrack that become such fierce competitors in themselves, just like we've discussed so much in the opening segment of the race before the qualifying began and at practice. You want to avoid the walls. You want to keep the truck off the walls. Of course, it's a narrow racing line. You want to make sure that you adhere to your line. You don't want to get into the throttle too quickly when you're coming off the corners and eat up the rear tires. This track has so many nuances that you want to pay attention to every one of them so that you can, again, like we were saying just a moment ago, preserve yourself, preserve the truck for the end of the event. You're just not going to get out there and race your competitors hard and think that you're not going to be causing detriment to the truck. And so this track has such a mystique and so much history and so much nostalgia and so much wear on it that it can affect how much this truck drives as much as the traffic does. And so that's what we mean by racing the track.
When was the last time this place was paved, Sam? I want to say it's been a while.
I think it was the early 2000s. It was after the 90s, if I'm not mistaken.
Most certainly has.
The last pave.
Yeah, and it's not just that it was paved. It's what it's paved with. As you see, Owen Simkovich hard in the outside wall again. He'll collect another Darlington stripe, and that's going to let Paul Witt and say, hey, Lewis Hayes advance past him. It's not just when it was paved. It's what it was paved with. The soil here is very, very rocky and it's very sandy, and it's almost. If you come to Darlington, which, to be fair, a lot of people might not realize this, Darlington, South Carolina, and Rockingham, North Carolina, are very close to one another, and they're paved with kind of the same aggregate, and you can look down into the racing surface and visibly see the sharpness of the edges of the stuff that was used to pave it with, and you can, just by looking at it, see how it would wear out tires. It's almost like looking at...
if you ever go to those tracks and you can actually see the racing surface, it would surprise you how coarse and sandpapery that asphalt really is. It's amazing what the sun will do to that asphalt.
It is. Justin Kirby has informed us it's 08. Last time before that was 93, 94. Whoa, we got one sideways. We had one slideways there. I believe that might have been Mr. Excitement, Justin Osterman.
Justin Osterman, yeah.
He is still sideways. Let's jump on board with Justin Osterman. Just watch the wheel here, fans. This is what we mean by racing the racetrack. It's more or less 14 laps into a run for Justin Osterman, and he has already, Sam, melted the rear tires on that number 53 machine.
Liam Anderson's called out for another pit. I think he's tried to race with this damage as long as he can. We'll see if he's going to continue to repair or if he'll take that truck behind the wall. We'll find out very shortly.
Yeah, that's a tough day at Darlington when you get involved in a mess not of your own making at the beginning of the race. That's a tough day at the office for Liam Anderson, and you want to get it fixed. He's got a meatball in there, and that may not be from any additional damage. As we watch Justin Osterman saw at the wheel of that number 53. He's getting passed by David Dunwoody. Goes through, crash. Neon goes through. Neon is in a vehicle that fits the name, Sam. I don't think that thing has a color on it that isn't out of a highlighter package.
It definitely looks like a good and plenty box for sure.
Mountain Dew on the side on the hood of that truck. Oh, David
Oh,
Dunwoody.
and Dunwoody in front of him grabs a little bit of the wall. Uh, you'll notice that there's for those that are watching, you'll notice that there's a lot of times tonight that we're going to call out drivers that are pounding that turn two wall. And because of the configuration of the racetrack, turns 1 and 2 here, the old 3 and 4, turns 1 and 2 here actually is a very long, sweeping corner, and there is so much more speed on that end of the track, and so you're so inclined to want to keep your foot in the throttle, but because of the configuration of how short and narrow that exit is coming off of the corner, you have so much speed and uh, and you're carrying so much throttle through there that sometimes if you're not moderating or planning that opportunity to come off the corner well, that's what's going to happen is the truck just wants to throw itself out to the wall or like, oh, and we have one in the wall on the backstretch.
That's
Looks
going to
like
be
Donald Green.
yeah.
Donald
That's
Green
Donald.
gets loose off a turn two there as we're talking about it.
Yeah, here it
It
is.
is it's just so fast and it comes up so quick for these drivers.
Boom. There it is, right in front of David Dunwoody, playoff driver, and Donald Green smacks the inside wall very hard. Right behind him, Justin Osterman, in a move of his own, he spins to the inside and slaps the inside wall. Do want to point out that OM Simkovich has decided that discretion is the better part of valor. He is going to retire his machine, and they'll be back. He'll be back in 2 weeks at Bristol. We are watching the battle for the lead or the battle for second. It has started to get fairly good up here. Ryan O'Donoghue has pulled out just a little bit, but the Chads they're starting to stage a fight for second, and Matt Sizzler has pulled up on the rear deck lid of Chad Winstead for third as Jeremy Dunwoody is going to pull to the inside. He's going to get out of the way. We are more or less 20 laps into a green flag run, and these drivers are struggling hard, Sam, with the tires already.
Leaders have really sorted themselves out. Now they're really going to allow themselves to see who can save the most tire for these long runs. Those top five drivers are very good drivers, and it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out in the latter part of the run.
Yes, it is. There is the leader, Ryan O'Donoghue. Second is Chad Dulabon. Chad Winstead third. Matt Sizzler fourth. Chuck Sweeting is fifth. And the top five are all right in a line, anywhere between 0.3 and a half a second apart. And you've got to go back 4.5 seconds to find this man, Crash Neon. The front five are kind of in a class by themselves. They're all running right about 32 flat, Sam. Crash Neon 32.3, David Dunwoody 32.4, Billy Elwell 32.3, Ken Allen 32.4, Matt Wagner 32.3 behind them. But there's Crash Neon in sixth. David Dunwoody runs seventh. There is Dunwoody. Billy Elwell is eighth. He's followed by Ken Allen in ninth. And Matt Wagner rounds out the top 10. Wags, though, he's 16 seconds off lead. He's already half a lap down, Sam.
I was actually looking at Matt Wagner as well as Kendall Paul. I don't know that Kendall was able to get everything fixed on that truck, as we just see Lewis Hayes make a pass on Kendall going into turn one, and Lewis Hayes is still trying to, as well as Matt Wagner and Kendall, Jalen Story, Paul Witt, all of these drivers are now. It won't be but a matter of time before they're in jeopardy of going a lap down. So they, it has a tendency to make you want to drive a little harder, and the harder you drive, the more you use up on the truck. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out before the end of the stage.
It most certainly will. These guys running around, they're about 20 seconds behind the leader, Ryan O'Donoghue, and they are running about half a second a lap slower. And so I don't think Ryan O'Donoghue is going to get there quite by the time the stage break comes at lap 45, but it's going to be awfully close. Speaking of awfully close, we've got a battle for the lead, Sam. Chad Dulabon heard that they were starting to string out up there. He must be listening to the broadcast because he is pulled right up on the back of Ryan O'Donoghue, and they're going to do battle for the lead here, Sam.
Well, 20 laps in, and you're really going to start seeing where the tires are. And then we noticed that Chad Dulabon, he didn't make a big run toward the front. He just settled in where he could settle in and just ran consistent laps. So I'm not surprised that we would see him making a battle for the lead here.
Yeah, there he goes. Ryan O'Donoghue got a little bit checked up, got a little bit in the wall coming off turn number 2, and that is going to allow Chad Dulabon to take the lead. O'Donoghue back to second. If you're a fan of the movie Days of Thunder, which I would assume that most people in our audience probably are, Sam, the line in the movie is the most treacherous turn is number 4. Here, that's turn number 2. This track was flipped in 1992, Sam, I believe.
Again, I'm usually guessing within the decade, but I think you're right within the 90s. I was right about the 2000 repave, but
early
because the other repave was in the 90s, and so they flipped the track when they did the other repave, the previous repave to the 2008 repave. So it was in the 90s as well.
Yes, it was. So it doesn't sound quite as good for Robert Duvall to say the most treacherous turn is number 2. But at any rate, that's the turn that they are talking about. 97 was the flip. If you look, and we're still watching the telemetry for Chad Dulabon, the grandstand to your left that has the advertisements in it that nobody's sitting in, that is the old main grandstand. So when you see the highlights of the Winston Million, Bill Elliott streaming down in front of the covered grandstand with the people waving their hats, that was that stand. It is no longer covered, but that's the grandstand from the famous picture, and I don't believe that is used anymore. Is it, Sam?
No, sir, it is not.
It is not. Ryan O'Donoghue works his way past, I believe that is Jalen Story. So move Jalen Story a lap down. We are now down to 13 cars on the lead lap. Going to check in with this battle. First and second have kind of stabilized. Chad Winstead is in third. And then behind Winstead, you've got Matt Sizzler and Chuck Sweeting. So the top 5, the positions 3 through 5, really are still in dispute here, Sam, as we work toward 10 laps to go in the stage.
It depends on how Chad Winstead, Matt Sizzler, and Chuck Sweeting, it really depends on if they were actually slowing their pace down. We know that Chad Dulabon likes to get out in front and set the pace, but if the trucks in positions 3 through 5, if those guys decided, hey, listen, we'll let Chad and Ryan go, and we'll see if we can't close that gap up over the remainder of this particular stage. I mean, it's just really hard to tell who's saving and who's not. But the best way to do that is to see who's running the most consistent lap times.
Most certainly is. The fall off, just for the fans at home, is about 2 seconds from where we started. So Chad Dulabon, his best lap, 30.419. He's running 32.381. So you're going to lose 2 seconds a lap. Now that's the calculus, Sam, that's going to happen in that final 57 lap dash for the cash. You can make it on fuel, but does it benefit you to come get tires, turn that baby into a rocket, and see if you can't play the hare to everybody else's tortoise?
Oh heavens, that's the $1 million question. I have never found that strategy worked with this track. 1, the track is too big. 2, in order to make up that kind of ground, you really have to push the limit of the tire, which means you're going to eventually get the tire to equalize, and you're not going to get the benefit after so long. Even a track that's a mile long, like Dover, many drivers like to try that strategy there. But again, in order to make up that ground, you really have to abuse those tires to get back up to where you were.
Yeah,
It's really really difficult, and in a mile and a half, it's almost near impossible, especially the way this place eats tires.
yes, it is. We're looking at Matt Sizzler. That battle that was a battle has kind of strung out, but there is a battle. It's Ken Holland. He has dropped to the inside of Billy Elwell. Holland going to try to take that is going to try to take that 8th spot. He backs out of that move going down into turn 1. Holland has not been the fastest of cars here, and this is kind of what you're going to see at a track like Darlington. Ken Holland's fast lap is 0.3 of a second lap, is 0.3 slower than Chad Dulabon, but he is now one of the faster trucks in the top 10, and he's going to.
How about that?
Yeah, he's going to go by Billy Elwell, and Matt Wagner is lurking right there too, and that's something that that will happen here. Guys may not be the fastest outright for one lap, but if you save your tires, Sam, you can be fastest over the long haul.
Oh, you feel like a hero. No, you really do. If you can master the ability to save tire and be able to be faster than your competitors on the long run, you just feel like Superman, especially when you start running them down. If those rear tires begin to really give up, drivers will start pounding the wall in turn 2. If the front tires start giving it up, they'll start pounding the wall in turn 3 and 4. It's a good feeling to know that you've saved enough tire that you can make up that kind of ground at the end of a run. So that's one of my favorite ways to race this racetrack.
Most certainly is. Ken Holland is backed off of Billy Elwell, but two very contrasting styles there. Elwell has the rear of that 57 or 67 truck hung out, Sam. Ken Holland, very smooth, very safe on the inputs. Matt Wagner behind him, smoother still, and Wags is the fastest of the three. As we get down to 3 laps to go in the stage, it is Chad Dulabon, your leader. Ryan O'Donohue is second, Chad Winstead third, Matt Sizzler fourth. They are all about 1.3 to 1.4 seconds apart for the top 4. Chuck Sweeting is fifth.
Again, we'll probably have to see how the top 5 will. The top 5 have gotten spread out within a 5.5 second margin, but we'll have to see how these drivers make adjustments for the second stage in order to see if they can be some kind of competition to Chad Dulabon tonight. Ryan O'Donohue probably might not want to run the very beginning of the stage as fast as he did, and see if he can't just be a little quicker for the longer run instead of being out front for a number of laps. So it's going to be interesting to see how all that plays out. I'm eager to know what drivers are going to make those kind of adjustments. And do we watch and see if somebody comes in like we talked about last night? Nope, can't come in now. Kendall Paul's closed the pits.
They have closed the pits indeed. Jalen Story has also come to pit road with the meatball, and so Jalen Story on the pit lane to end the stage. Matt Wagner gets it loose, and that means that it's going to be Chad Dulabon coming toward the line. And look at what he's got in front of him or behind him, Sam. He has pulled out to a 2.2 second lead over Ryan O'Donohue, and there is a mess of lap traffic there. That includes Kendall Paul. Kendall Paul is fighting hard with
he's trying to get that lucky dog position for sure.
Well, he doesn't really have to worry about that necessarily. He's got John Hutchins and Mr. Excitement, Justin Osterman, around him. And Justin Osterman is worth the price of admission every time he comes off a turn 2, Sam. But Kendall Paul has 3 seconds or more in hand over Paul Witt, who's the next truck 1 lap down. Caution is on the speedway, so Kendall Paul is going to get the lucky dog, and Chad Dulabon.
Wow, Kendall was just power sliding that truck through turn 2 on that last lap. That was amazing.
Yes, he was. Chad Dulabon wins the stage. Ryan O'Donohue second, Chad Winstead third, Sizzler, Sweeting, Crash Neon sixth, David Dunwoody, Billy Elwell, Ken Holland, and Matt Wagner are going to round out your top 5. So, are going to round out your
Lewis
top
Hayes
5.
manages to stay on the lead lap as the last truck on the lead lap.
Yes, sir. And that is big because if you remember, say, hey, Lewis Hayes was involved in the early caution, Sam, and he spent over a minute under repair on pit lane, and I'd imagine he's probably still got some more.
He probably has some, yeah. I probably would think that he has just a little bit. He and Kendall Paul both probably still have some repairs that they have to incur.
Now, here's the other bit. You are not going to see a single one of these trucks
not take tires.
Stay out. Nobody at Darlington is going to stay out. There will be no tire strategy that involves somebody staying out. That involves somebody staying out here. You watch Chad Dulabon slide to a stop. Winstead and O'Donohue slide in front of him. You've got the 3 birdies machine of Matt Sizzler. So there's your top 4 on the pit lane. Everybody taking 4 tires. Dulabon away, Sizzler away, Winstead and O'Donohue away. Everybody makes it out, and they're going to stay, I believe, Sam, in that order as we exit the pit lane. To be sure, say hey Lewis Hayes is still in the box, and there's Lewis. Now the damage would be around the right front area of that 4340 Raceway machine, and he is getting more fixed, Sam.
I kind of thought that might be the case. It looked a little more extensive than what the naked eye probably would see. I would say the same thing with Kendall Paul. The right front tire was completely folded up underneath the fender for him, so I'm sure that he has to get quite a bit of damage fixed as well.
Yeah, and you know, to look at, say, hey, Lewis Hayes there, you see the
he's going to go a lap down again. Kendall Paul will go back down another lap because he's
fixing more damage.
More repairs. Yeah, he could not pit because he had to pit after the fact. The lucky dog.
Yeah, and we're going to see the caution be extended here by the admins, just because of scoring issues and lining up. It is very difficult here at Darlington to get everybody in line with the lucky dog and lap down cars pitting. They almost don't have time to come to pit lane. So good move from the administration here to extend the caution. While we do that, we want to tell you about Archway Industrial Coatings. They're a St. Louis-based flooring company that have been getting the job done for years. They do epoxy and urethane flooring solutions that withstand the test of time, all while meeting their customers' installation schedules and budgets. They're committed to doing the highest quality work at the lowest possible cost every time. They're a strong and stable company accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Employees are highly trained craftsmen, Sam, who know the difference between a job and a job well done. At the same time, we know how to work quickly and efficiently to keep labor costs down while never sacrificing the quality that has been the bedrock of their reputation since day one. They could tell you more, but they'd rather show you with the quality of their work. So take the time to visit their gallery and email or call for a free quote. Whether it's industrial, commercial, restaurant, retail, flooring, or even concrete repair at home, you found the perfect partner to get the job done now and get ready to floor it with Archway, and that's archwaycoatings.com. Lights are out on the pace truck, and so we are going to go back to green here very shortly, Sam. They're on the backstretch. Everybody that wanted to pit has had the chance to do so. And look at that line of trucks that has to go to the tail end of the longest line. There are only 6 trucks here that are in line. Everybody else is either a lap down or has to go to the tail end of the longest line. As Barney puts the green flag back in the air, we're under caution for just a little bit over 5 minutes. And we are not under caution any longer, Sam. Green flag is out, and racing here at the Too Tough to Tame 200 in the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series resumes. Chad Dulabon gets the
big jump for Chad Dulabon that time. Big jump.
He got the drop on him. Now there is a truck up there that has not been fighting with the leaders, and that's Matt Sizzler. He's going to go under Ryan O'Donohue. Now Chad Winstead is going to have a peek under Ryan O'Donohue, but that neon machine, that is Crash Neon. He has not been up amongst the leaders all day long. He is there now, Sam.
Actually, he had such a space there. He was, he was on an island all by himself behind those top five. But now that he can, things have closed up, we can actually see what he might be able to do with these leaders tonight.
Yeah, we most certainly
He's
can and will.
nestled himself in where he can kind of change his pace and see if he can keep up with these this top five that seems to be have separated themselves from the rest of the field.
Yeah, so timing and scoring would tell you that Crash Neon's outright fastest lap, it's just about in line with Dulabon, Sizzler, Dulabon and Sizzler. Chad Winstead has the fastest lap of the race. Ryan O'Donohue, the second fastest lap. But Sam, being outright fastest over one lap here is not what you want.
I'd be interested since you have that information in front of you, those stats. I'd be interested to know what Chad Dulabon's fastest lap is compared to what Chad Winstead's fastest lap is.
So Winstead has the purple lap, 30.218. Chad Dulabon's fastest lap, 30.33.
Probably a 4?
No, 30.
Right out of 4.
30.339. Ryan O'Donohue's fast lap, 30.309. And Matt Sizzler's 30.478. Crash Neon, 30.510. We're watching Matt Wagner as he works on Billy Elwell. Wags has made it up to 9th. Mike Rigney, he does not have a scratch on the number 17 DeWalt Toyota. Donald Green checks in, not how he wanted the night to go. It's not how anybody would want one of these to go, Donald. But you'll be back next week for doggone sure. Keep plugging away, keep chipping at it, keep going fast. Good things will happen. We're watching Wagner work on Elwell. Elwell has just a bit of an advantage on outright pace. You want to talk about a difference between outright speed, Sam?
What's that?
Billy Elwell's fastest lap, 30.401, which is in line with what the leaders can do, right? Mm-hmm. Matt Wagner's fast lap, 31.056. His fast lap is 0.6 of a second off the pace.
Do you know what's probably one of the most discussed things among friends on iRacing? Is that you'll get into a race and you'll begin to talk with your fellow drivers, and there will be drivers like Chad Dulabon or Ryan O'Donohue, Chad Winstead, these front-running drivers who run these great laps, lap in, lap out. They'll just run these fast speeds, and other drivers are like, I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they do it. But if you go back and you talk to those same drivers at the end of the race, they've either burned their stuff down or they have left so much on the table. I can't tell you how many drivers that I know that at the end of a run, their tire wear is minimal because they just did not even try to push the truck. They were so afraid of it. And so it's just a catch-22 of balance to make sure that you're trying to run consistent, even laps with good throttle control and braking control. And wheel input has a lot to do with it as well.
Yeah, it's all about being smooth. Smooth on the wheel, being smooth with the throttle inputs. My issue with these trucks here, Sam, has always been I was okay like on the speedway style stuff, but I only have an IndyCar style wheel, and so when I would come to a track like Darlington, for example, it's very difficult to manage the tires because my inputs by nature had to be so much more sharp because rectangle, not circle.
And it's so critical. You don't realize how critical it is until you begin to really get involved into the mechanics of the racing. It's just so much more than just jumping into the rig and then expecting, go mash the gas and turn left. It's so much more involved than that. Especially with direct drive wheels, the way they have come along, the technology that has come with those, and drivers that what comfort level you have with force feedback, or what settings that you can make in your direct drive wheel as well. There's just so many other variables that you can use to your advantage to fit your driving style to help you with those things. It just takes time, practice, and trial and error.
Yes, it does. You've got Justin Kirby waving at you in the chat, Sam. So, hello, Justin.
Justin and I go a long way back.
Yes, you do. The Kirby
We
brothers,
we
as it
traded
were,
me
right?
we traded he and Brent and I we all traded fenders on a lot of short tracks back in the day, the Neora and ISRA days for sure.
There we go.
Justin's always been fast.
You gonna give the Lotus 79s a shot on Monday night? That's Mike's next deal. I need to see you in a Lotus 79, Sam. That would be terrific.
Did you not see me over in Lionheart when I raced in that series?
No, I only did Speedway. I did not run the classic. I did not run the classic cars.
Oh.
They are those things, and so I'm gonna do it. I will not be able to make the first half of the season, but once the time falls back, it'll give that 2 hour window between the open broadcast and and Onyx, and I'll be able to try it. Very happy to do that. I've only run the Lotus 79 at Indianapolis. I believe I snuck in a retro race there once, but no, I only did the Speedway stuff. And the reason is the 79s race
I
on.
remember in the series that I ran, running in that series. There were drivers like Ryan Otis, who
Yeah.
I esteem Ryan Otis in the highest regard. I tell people all the time I'm probably one of the biggest Ryan Otis fans there is. But Ryan Otis and Dustin Wardlow, those were drivers with I had very minimal open wheel experience. Those are guys that actually took the time, gave me input, encouraged me, uh, and I tell you, it has never left me and it stayed with me for a long time, and I've appreciated them so much for that very thing.
Yeah, I mean it's
And we have got a race up front. I hate to change the subject so
no,
quickly, but we have really got a race up
we
front.
do. Chad Dulaban's got the lead. Matt Sizzler is hot on his heels, and Ryan O'Donohue is if he got any closer to Matt Sizzler, he'd be in the bed of that truck. And you can see it, Sam. I'm gonna put the telemetry up. You can see Ryan O'Donohue visibly lifting to not go by Matt Sizzler.
Well, I kind of thought that Ryan, the way he jumped out to a little bit of a space there at the beginning of the first run, I kind of thought that he might approach this one a little more differently, and it very well looked that way. And Crash Neon's now, we had questions about how much pace he could hold. He's actually fallen 2 seconds back of this group now. Out like they were as quickly this time, and we're almost 20 laps into this run.
So Mike says that you don't need an invite to race in his league, and so I'm telling Mike that you would like a invite delivered with a white gloved waiter and engraved in gold leaf.
Make it a chauffeur so they can drive the car, and I'll take them.
There it is. But look, I mean, to get back to this, Ryan O'Donohue is pulling up deliberately behind Matt Sizzler to not pass him.
Well, what that did was he got so close and touched the tailgate of the 35 this time in 3 and 4 that it slowed him down.
And now
that momentum is so important, and he just gets passed by Chad Winstead. So now he's got to pace himself behind another driver, or decide if he's ready to go up front.
Watching Chad Dulaban, Ryan O'Donohue. O'Donohue's now fallen back into the clutches of back into the clutches of Chuck Sweeting. I told Mike, since you'd like a chauffeur, I volunteer to pick you up, but I'm going to do it in a late 1970s Dodge, last owned by Al Bundy. Everybody, now that we're 23 laps into this stint, Sam, these drivers are starting to get really loose coming off of turn 2 one more time. And speaking of drivers that, you know, we've kind of talked about, Sahe Lewis Hayes is another one of those, just like Matt Wagner. His best time out here, 31.180. Now, Sahe Lewis Hayes did have...
Sorry. He gets in behind Billy Elwell there, and Elwell's in the wall, and so, you know, it just really makes you trepidatious about how you're going to make that, and cautious about how you're going to make that pass.
Yeah, well,
so he's just making sure that he, you know, Billy can gather it back up, but he also wants to make sure that he can make a clean pass. Oh, big run here. He's going to try and make it on the backstretch.
Yeah, here he goes. We're riding in the passenger seat with Sahe Lewis Hayes. Matt Wagner is no longer clean, Mike. He just pounded the wall on the backstretch. Sahe Lewis Hayes glances off of it in turn number 3 as he and Billy Elwell race on down toward the front stretch. Matt Wagner is going to bring his truck to pit lane. We're going to continue this battle, though. This is fun stuff. These trucks, the tires after 25 laps are just about shot, Sam.
Oh, they're certainly not happy, and you can see Billy Elwell is having a time with his particular truck. He's running a very defensive line too, and so Lewis Hayes is just trying to find the best way that he can make a safe pass here. He got inside of him on the backstretch, but once they got into turn 3, Billy drove it in really deep, and so Lewis is going to have to really kind of fight for this position here. They know that they're going to be after Matt Wagner's unfortunate contact with the wall. It puts him in jeopardy of going a lap down, and these drivers will be the next ones on the hit list at the end of this particular stage. Oh, they touched on the backstretch.
We're going to have hard.
And now Lewis Hayes, he doesn't hit the wall, but touches it barely. Billy Elwell saves it in the turn, and they are still going in the straight direction.
So Billy Elwell,
oh man,
Billy Elwell tagged the wall there, coming off the corner. Sahe Lewis Hayes couldn't avoid it, just touches him. They both spin down to the inside. This is the only contact that occurred.
Now Lewis Hayes gets into Justin Osterman, but now they save it, no caution. But they are crawling out of turn 2. They are crawling. Oh, the time that they're losing right there.
Yes, they are. Down to about 55 miles an hour. And what in the world happened here? We're going to have to go back and take a look at this. Justin Osterman blazes the outside of Sahe Lewis Hayes going down the front, and then just kind of turns down right in front of him, Sam.
Yeah, I think that he was just trying to get a good exit off the corner there, and Lewis was still under him. What
a save from Sahe Lewis Hayes, though. He continues.
Twice.
Yeah, twice. He continues on. The problem for Sahe Lewis Hayes, though, that conga line of trucks that you see, led by the black truck in the front with the purple truck is the caboose. Those are the leaders, and we've got 13 more laps until the stage is over, Sam.
Oh, they're definitely going to be trying to save themselves from losing that lucky dog position. It looks like Lewis will probably go a lap down here. I don't know if they'll catch Billy Elwell, Lewis Hayes, Justin Osterman, all 3 of those trucks that were involved in those incidents a couple of laps ago. They were able to keep the truck pointing in the right direction, so they were no caution and they saved it. But man, the time lost is just instrumental here.
Yes, it is. Justin Osterman continues to get his truck extremely out of shape in front of Sahe Lewis Hayes, and this is big for Lewis Hayes. He wants to stay on the lead lap. Barring catastrophe, he's going to remain the only car, or he's going to remain the first truck a lap down. Kendall Paul is 13 seconds behind him on the road. Billy Elwell is 6.5 seconds up the road, and so I don't think in 10 laps they're going to catch Billy Elwell, even if they were to lap Lewis Hayes now, which they are not. Lewis, last time through, 32.996. Chad Dulabon, 32.635, and they've still got a couple of seconds to get to him.
Oh, I would not want to be in the driver's seat of that 43 tonight right now.
A little bit of red mist, maybe, Sam?
Oh, I really think that there wouldn't be enough room for anyone else in his anger right now.
Which, to be fair, and I've raced with Lewis a long time, it takes a lot to get Say Hey Lewis Hayes mad. He is one of the most easygoing fellas that that you can be around in the sim. But two incidents like that, and Osterman hard in the wall again. Back behind him, Chad Winstead. He gets really loose, nearly spins the truck out. That's going to allow Chuck Sweeting to take fourth place. And watch this save from Chad Winstead, Sam. He drops to the inside. He's looking at Matt Sizzler here. And I think he overcooks the entry to turn number one. And watch as he's going to get down here. He's going to smack the wall. And then all sorts of fun with the steering wheel is going to ensue. He doesn't hit anything beyond this initial contact. See, there he is. He gets in the wall. He's got it up there. And the wall's like glue, Sam. It holds him in. And then he gets that angle, comes down. Chuck Sweeting doesn't hit him. But Chad Winstead crashed there for about 3/4 of a mile and didn't really do much damage, Sam.
I'm really surprised that would happen. Chad was so smooth in the first stage, but it just goes to show how quickly this racetrack can jump up and bite you in the most unexpected moment.
Yes, it does. Say Hey Lewis Hayes continues to cling to that lead lap. His biggest fan right now is Kendall Paul. Lewis Hayes does have the leader right behind him. The good news for Say Hey Lewis Hayes, we are 6 laps away from a stage caution. Ultimately, he will either be the last car on the lead lap or the lucky dog, whichever other or, Sam. And then the question becomes, how much does Chad Dulabon try to press this issue as Lewis Hayes smacks the fence in turn number 3?
Justin Osterman has finally decided that his truck and his patience cannot take anymore, and so he's taking it behind the wall and called it a night.
I don't think his truck spent more than 2 laps pointed in a straight direction, Sam.
I've had nights like that at some racetracks. I really have.
Absolutely. And this could be, too, one of those situations. And Chad Dulabon, veteran racer, he knows he's got a lot of time in hand. He may not really be pressing hard to lap, Say Hey Lewis Hayes here with 4 laps or 5 laps to go in the stage. He may be content just to ride behind Lewis Hayes. Hayes is not running lap times all that dissimilar to Matt Sizzler and Ryan O'Donohue here. So Dulabon may not be all that interested in putting a lap on the 4D Raceway machine in front of him.
Well, for one thing, I think Lewis Hayes is not ready to go a lap down, but I also know that he'll give Chad Dulabon room, knowing that he's the leader.
Yeah, he got up in the wall a little bit there, and that's going to let Dulabon go by. And Kendall Paul.
Dulabon's actually been running a line that not everyone runs at this racetrack. If you notice through 3 and 4, he kind of diamonds the corner through 1 and 2, but when he gets to 3 and 4, if you pay close attention, he's one of the few trucks that doesn't wash the truck up toward the wall. He actually gets it down to the bottom where the dotted white line is, and he runs the lower line to kind of preserve the tires. There are a lot of drivers that are very kind. Greg Evans is another one that really is very good about running that low line through 3 and 4 and making good time.
I like to run that line too, and I'll tell you who taught it to me. And it was none of you guys. I was in an open lobby practice session, and it was probably just a couple 3 months after I had gotten the sim, and some Dale Earnhardt Jr. fella was in front of me, and I was trying to follow him, and I couldn't do it, and he actually pulled me aside in a chat and showed me the line, which was very kind of Jr. He did not have to do that, but. Sim racers helping sim racers, right, Sam? But that was the line that I was taught, was to come off a turn number 4 very low next to that line, wait to get back in the gas. It is amazing how much tire you can save doing that. See how late he waits to get back in the throttle, like right there. I mean, he's almost off the corner, pointed straight before Chad Dulabon puts his foot back down on the accelerator, and that is going to save a ton of tire, not only right rear, but right front too, because you're just not subjecting it to the loads that you normally would.
Oh man, that's probably the hardest thing that I've tried to learn in this sim is just try to moderate the throttle where you're just not matting it as soon as you can mat it. It really is a talent to be able to do that, and it is astronomical in your tire savings and how you can make that work to your advantage.
Most certainly is. Chad Dulabon is going to cross the line. He has already completed the stage, and now we wait for Billy Elwell, who is right in front of him, to come all the way around. Elwell is in 9th place. Lewis Hayes is in 10th. So Say Hey Lewis Hayes has to complete an extra lap because the caution gets thrown based on the 10th place car. And Say Hey Lewis Hayes is saying, Billy Elwell, you stay ahead of Chad Dulabon right here. There's the caution. So Say Hey Lewis Hayes is saved in that lucky dog spot.
He will be in this, depending on how much damage he has, he could be in the same situation that Kendall Paul was in earlier, where he gets the lucky dog, but because he has to wait to pit the next time by, he will probably incur that lap down again if he has to stay in there for extensive repairs.
Well, and that's kind of the question here, right?
Yeah, it really is.
Do you fix it? Do you fix it, or do you gamble?
Have that much. Well, yeah, but do you drive the truck damaged enough to try and stay out for 20-25 laps and be able to stay on the lead lap and hope that you catch another caution, or you're just jammed up and you have to stay out there for a 45 lap or more run and then turn around and just go a lap down anyway under green conditions? It's a driver's decision, and there goes the leaders into the pit lane, and Lewis Hayes is wanting to get that lap back, but he can't pass the pace truck until after the start-finish line. He was eager to go there.
Yeah, we're going to keep our eyes on Say Hey Lewis Hayes. Kendall Paul is also going to stay out here. He cannot pit until the next time by. We've got another poll up. Pick your winner, Dulabon, O'Donohue, Sizzler, or none of the above. To quote Richard Pryor from the classic Brewster's Millions, there goes Say Hey Lewis Hayes. You didn't think you were going to get a Richard Pryor reference tonight, did you, Sam?
No, I did not expect that.
or a Brewster's Millions reference.
I know that your history knowledge and your prolific movie knowledge always seems to bring out the surprises.
Who wouldn't love that movie? John Candy's in that one. That's a funny flick about a baseball player whose rich uncle kicks the bucket and leaves him $30 million, but he's got to spend or $300 million, but he's got to spend $30 million in 30 days. Quite commodious, Sam. Say Lewis Hayes is going to do something a little bit different than Kendall Paul, in that he did not come in at the first opportunity to pit. Say Lewis Hayes stayed out an extra lap, and he's going to come this time. That allowed him to catch the rear of the field, Sam. And so I think Lewis knows that he's got some work to do here, and he wants to be able to do it. So here comes Say Hey Lewis Hayes.
And just sometimes the pits close like that.
I think he's able to get to him. I think it's one of those quirks. He's able to get into it before it closes. And the penalty for that, he's got a black flag. The penalty for that is tail end the longest line anyway. Right. He got the lucky dog, so he's going the tail end regardless, right?
Yeah, but they're going to green this time by.
Yes, they are. And there's Say Hey Lewis Hayes. He is on the pit lane. with the black flag, and he is going to have to move this along, Sam. They're putting left sides on it now. There he goes.
Yeah, he just took tires. He decided that he wasn't going to repair much damage at all.
Well, and maybe the damage to the rear isn't something, Sam, that's going to affect him a whole lot. But there goes Lewis Hayes.
If it was knocked out to the right, it actually may give him a little bit more grip.
Yeah, there it is. He's still getting up to speed. Here come the leaders. Chad Dulabon gets out, gets the jump. Chad Winstead is second, so nice recovery for Winstead. Crash Neon third, O'Donoghue fourth, Sizzler fifth. The polling right now says none of the above.
Oh my!
So we think we might have a different winner here.
Do our prestigious watchers tonight, our viewers, do they know something that we don't know tonight?
Maybe. Crash Neon's looking awfully good right now. Crash Neon has gone to third place. He's going to challenge the Chad and Chad show here momentarily, Sam. And you cannot miss that car for Crash Neon. It cannot be missed.
Well, it certainly makes it easier for us as announcers not to have to guess who that driver is. When you have a field full of all blue, red, and black trucks, sometimes it's hard to pick up the number real quick.
It most certainly is. But Crash Neon, he's giving it a good ride. He is right behind Chad Winstead in third. Ryan O'Donoghue fourth. Matt Sizzler fifth. And just like they have throughout the event, Sam, that front five has really started to separate itself.
Where is... And Crash is actually he's just nestled himself into the middle of these front five again, just as he did at the second stage. Ken Allen has done a great job tonight, just running his race. He's raced the track and has steadily just put him in a good position tonight. David Dunwoody with a good comeback from his early incident on lap 1. Lewis Hayes is back in the pit area, and now he is 2 laps down. He's coming out of the pits now. The damage was probably just too much for him. And he will go 3 laps down this time by. But he is in front of the leaders this time. He is right in front of the leaders. We'll see what Lewis Hayes does. He's a couple laps down, and see how much room he'll give the leaders as they begin to close in on him through 1 and 2.
Say, hey, Lewis Hayes is going to get out of the way. Yeah, he's going to get out of the way, Sam. I'm assuming that black flag, they made him do a stop and go or a drive through. Is that accurate?
It's very possible. If the black flag could have been for speeding, which I highly doubt, but it could have been for a 40-second hold, which is exactly what it seems like. A speeding penalty on entry is 40 seconds. If he enters a closed pit, that's the end of the longest line.
Yeah,
or a drive-through.
Yeah, he's gone to 3 laps down, and so that would be a 40-second hold. Sam.
Yeah, I thought it was unusual that he would wait 1 more lap to pit, because the pits would be closed with the 1 to go.
Yes, it was. The battle for that lead is now tight, Sam. Chad Winstead dropped back a little bit from Chad Dulabon. He is pulled right back up to the tailgate of that number 98, and that's because Crash Neon and Ryan O'Donoghue are coming.
Well, it seems like the first 20 laps of these runs, this is how the front 5 have been. They run nose to tail. Chad Dulabon likes that clean air on the nose of his truck, and he just kind of commands the lead, and everyone else just tries to keep pace with him. And then slowly as the run goes, Chad Dulabon begins to pull away. But who's to say what would happen if someone like Chad Winstead were to get in front of Dulabon and set the pace for himself, and how that might play out?
Yes, indeed, and interesting to see exactly how this is going to play out. And remember, you've got Crash Neon, who is a newcomer to the series. Dulabon, Winstead, and O'Donohue have all raced together for the entire season. Crash Neon's only been around here for a couple of races, and so those drivers are not as familiar with Crash Neon as they are each other.
That's a great viewpoint there, Mark, and it's always it's always on your mind when you're racing around people that you haven't normally raced around, and that's a very real statement that you're sharing with us here, is to make sure that drivers are trying to be cognizant of all their surroundings and the drivers that they have to navigate with and race door to door with. It's so important.
Just as I say that, Crash Neon tags the wall. Ryan O'Donohue, Matt Sizzler go through. And so it's Chad Dulabon, Chad Winstead, the Chad and Chad show, as it were. They are first and second. Ryan O'Donohue third, Matt Sizzler fourth, Demote Crash Neon to fifth, Chuck Sweeting is sixth. David Dunwoody, do want to point out, he has
we've got to run for the lead here. Chad Winstead gets a run off of 4, and he thinks better of it as they get into turn 1, and now he loses a lot of ground to Dulabon there after checking up going into 1. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, interrupt away, Sam. That's what you're here for. What I was saying was that David Dunwoody has made a very quiet run to 7th. He's not involved in this pack. He's not pictured on the screen. We'll go ahead and pull him up. He's 6 seconds behind Chuck Sweeting, but David Dunwoody putting together a very quiet, very methodical deal. And that's kind of what you got to do sometimes, Sam. If you're in a championship fight, you may not have the car, you may not be having the best of nights, but you just got to do what you got to do to score points, survive, and advance.
Salvage the best finish that you can for yourself.
David Dunwoody doing a great job of that. It's not been a spectacular night, but if Dunwoody is around come the final race, he can point back to a 7th place at Darlington, where he finished ahead of Kendall Paul, Jeremy Dunwoody, Justin Osterman, Liam Anderson. By just staying out of trouble, he may point back to this as a watershed moment. Go back to the leaders, because they are, Sam, they are all over it.
We're only about 13 laps into this run, so 20 laps. After 20 laps, you'll start to see. However, I did see at the end of this, through the majority of the last stage, in the second stage, the second and third place trucks, they didn't fall. They didn't start falling 2 seconds behind Chad Dulabon until very late in the run.
Well, and the thing is, this is going to be the longest run of the race by about 10 laps, isn't it, Sam?
Yes, sir. Easily by that much. Certainly interesting to see how these drivers are going to pace themselves for that extra time on the racetrack. If you're running in that 3rd, 4th, or even 5th position, you just try to don't think about, if it were me, I'm in those positions, I'm not really thinking about making a pass. I'm really thinking about my throttle control, my wheel input. I'm really thinking about my entry. I'm really, again, what we were talking about some time ago, I'm thinking about racing the track, because if I get thinking about trying to make a pass, then it's going to start affecting my lap time, and it's going to start affecting my ability to keep up with the leaders. And So it's just I just think it's a great mindset to have for yourself if you're willing just to say, okay, I'm not going to get caught up into their pace. I want to run my pace, but I want to make sure that I'm being smart too.
Yeah, I mean, most certainly so. We're riding on board Matt Sizzler now in that Three Birdies machine. We'll put you in the passenger seat. You know, he's steadily started, slowly but surely, and very steadily started to lose touch with Ryan O'Donoghue and Chad Winstead, and you can hear him playing with that throttle, Sam, through the corners.
You really have to. You just it can be your worst enemy or it could be your best friend at tracks like this.
Well, and that's kind of what we got a battle for second. Ryan O'Donoghue has caught Chad Winstead, and he's going to try to break up the Chad and Chad show. But that's kind of what that line that Chad Dulabon runs, where he comes off on the bottom, he diamonds that off, and he runs the bottom, and he's almost got the truck pointed straight coming off of turn number 4 before he hits the gas. That saves so much tire. He is not the fastest.
All the front tires, yeah.
He's not the fastest through the middle or even at exit a corner. But just because he's able to do that, he has so much more grip, Sam, at the end of the run.
Yeah, straightening that wheel out really does help prevent a wheel spin on the rear tires, but it also helps the front tires not shatter or get wear on them quite as much if you can get the wheel straight.
Very true. And, you know, you can tell it's effective because Chad Dulabon is probably the only truck that we've seen tonight, and we'll get back on board with him. See how straight he is before he hits the gas? Right, he's not even back in it till almost he starts going back out toward the wall. Lauren Elwell checks in. Thank you so much for joining us, Lauren. Thank you so much for wishing us a happy race night. Happy race night to you as well. Circling among the Liam Anderson team, Billy Elwell is 9th. And then Jalen Story and Liam are both out of the event. Liam Anderson involved in a wild crash on lap 1, not of his own doing, that took out several good trucks, including himself. Kendall Paul got damage in that. Paul Witt's been behind the 8 ball because of that accident most of the night. And so very difficult situation for Liam. The good news is Bristol is in 2 weeks' time. I also wanted to point out to Lauren that I got in trouble with one of my open wheel buddies, Kyle Clinworth, because we were apparently not being nice to Taco Bell during our food discussion. So I told him to blame AMA Friday night for that. But we'll turn it into a food podcast again. I don't care, Sam. Chad Dulabon is starting to inch away from Winstead and O'Donoghue here, Sam. And there's Billy in the CHEP truck. Billy Elwell. He's running along behind Paul Witt. Paul Witt is a lap down. Elwell is 21 seconds in arrears. He is the last car on the lead lap. And judging from the way that truck is driving, Sam, I'd say he'd like a caution right about now.
There's probably a lot of drivers that would love to see a caution, either to bunch the field up or just get some poor feel goods on that truck.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you need it. You can see poor Billy. The rear tires are hunting for purchase along the straightaways here at Darlington. It's almost so worn down. He's having a hard time driving it in a straight line, Sam.
It's hard to drive in a straight line when you're spinning off the corners. The back of the truck wants to come around, and sometimes the front of the truck just wants to go and kiss that wall on the outside, so it becomes a handful.
There it is. We'll see what Billy sees as he drives it down into turn number 1 one more time. Just really fighting that truck. There it is off the wall. Compare and contrast that with Chad Dulabon. We'll get on Dulabon here in just a minute. But compare and contrast that with Chad Dulabon. All right, so that's Billy Elwell. We're going to jump aboard the leader, Chad Dulabon.
And again, if you watch the leaders, a lot of what they're doing is allowing the truck to roll. Some drivers don't even use the brake when they're going into one. Some drivers just don't use the brake at all. They let off early and allow the truck to just naturally just move toward the wall in 1 and 2, and then once it rolls enough, they slowly, steadily begin to get into the throttle. And the same thing with 3. However, because it's so much more narrow, you might want to trail brake the truck or car and allow it to set before you get back into the throttle.
Well, and I was going to say, Sam, Chad Dulabon is getting back to the gas a lot later than Billy. He's not driving it as deep, and he is getting back to the gas much later than Billy Elwell. Let's get on board with Elwell again here. Listen to how early he tries to get back in the throttle, Sam.
And again, how much throttle is Billy Elwell using at this particular instance where he gets back into it?
Right. See,
you can hear that it's a little bit more throttle than what Chad Dulabon's using. See, now he modulates it because he knows the wall's coming up quickly.
Yep. But
if he could reverse that and a little less throttle when he picks it up, and then gradually adds until he makes his drive off. But he's got to work on those things for himself, for his own comfort level, so that he can manage the race course in the best way possible.
He's going to have to work on it quick because the leader is right behind him. Chad Dulabon is going to pull up on the back of Billy Elwell, and he's looking at putting Billy a lap down. And there is damage now on the front of that 67. It looks like he's been into something. The left front is a bit askew, and that could be contributing to the struggle that he's having with handling. And Elwell is going to pull it over to the right, or to the left, excuse me. He's going to let the leader through, and here comes Chad Winstead in second. He's going to get underneath Billy Elwell, and sure to follow suit is third place running Ryan O'Donohue. They have, by the way, lost Matt Sisler. Sisler was with this group not too long ago. He is 2.5 seconds back of these leaders as they run. It's Chad Dulabon in the lead, Chad Winstead second, Ryan O'Donohue is third. Do want to thank everybody for tuning it in. If you haven't already done so, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, and subscribe to the P1 Broadcasting channel. Be notified of all future P1 iRacing events. And we've got a bunch of dandy shows lined up for you next, and that's going to start tomorrow with the iRacing IndyCar Series Championship finale presented by 40 Raceway. It's Championship Saturday from the Nashville Super Speedway. That'll be live at 2 o'clock on...
I'm sorry, but Chad Winstead just hammered the wall in 1 and 2, and that just allowed Ryan O'Donohue to really close the gap. And I was in the truck with Ryan O'Donohue, and then he was checking up real. Oh, and Dulabon is in the wall in 3 and 4. That slows him down.
Yes, he does. That's going to let Chad Winstead, Ryan O'Donohue climb a little bit closer. They cut. Oh golly, Sam! They cut just about half a second off that lead. Chad Dulabon.
They sure did. No, he was stuck to the wall. Once you get level with that wall, it will hold you there longer than you want to stay.
Yes, it will. The main thing is Tuesday night we're going to have the Indy Oval Top Split presented by Techtopia. That's going to come from Legacy, Michigan, and I think that there might be a Dallara that gets the wraps pulled off of it for that one. Wednesday night we're going to have the championship finale for the IndyCar Open Series Top Split, and then Thursday, Sam, you and I are going to be right back here for the Black Magic Studios Grand National Series from Gateway. And then Friday, the Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series from Bristol. Those are at 8:20 p.m. Eastern pre-race. 8:35 start. Ryan O'Donohue tags the wall pretty hard. Chad Dulabon gave up that half a second. Got right back in his rhythm. Got right around David Dunwoody has now... Or is that... No, that's Paul Witt. Dunwoody and Paul Witt, very similarly colored machines tonight.
Yeah, it's hard to distinguish them, actually.
It is. It is a little bit. Dunwoody, by the way, continues to run in 7th. He has not yet lost that lap, Sam.
No, he hasn't.
Just that quiet night. He would be 5th among the championship 10 if the race were to end right now, and that would be a wonderful points night for a track that David Dunwoody has historically struggled at. We are working lap 134 of 147, coming to get 135. That means we've got 14 laps to go.
Yeah, this thing's closing down really quick, yeah.
Yeah, Chad Winstead can see him. There's Chad Winstead. We'll get on board now. Remember how quiet the wheel was for Chad Dulabon? It is not quiet for Chad Winstead. Completely polar opposites in how they drive this truck. Chad Winstead is dirt tracking that truck through turns 1 and 2, off of turn 2. Just, he is driving that thing for everything it's worth. Dare I say, Sam, he's driving it like he stole it.
There's just something about the closing stages of a race where you're thinking that I may have enough tire, I may not have enough tire, but I'm not going to leave anything on the rim.
I was going to say, you've saved it. 135 laps, 136 laps have gone by. If you've got, the old saying goes, if smoke them if you got them. Now's the time where if you got them, it's time to melt them. With coming to get 11 laps to go. If you don't go now, you're not probably going to get the chance to go. And Chad Winstead is driving that truck for all it's worth off of turn number 4. Chad Dulabon, contrast that. Watch how quiet the wheel is here, Sam, as he pulls up on the back of that's Billy Elwell one more time.
Billy Elwell actually pitted. He called a pit stop several laps ago, so
yes, he did. He's been on pit road.
Now he's 3 laps down now, and Lewis Hayes will make up a position because of that pit stop.
Yeah, Billy Elwell came and got 4 new tires there. Just couldn't take it anymore. You could kind of tell by the way he was running the truck that he had no right front left on that truck. But you see the difference in contrast between Dulabon and Winstead and how they're driving the thing, Sam. It's pretty stark.
It sure is. And if as smooth as Chad Dulabon's been tonight, when you're riding with him and you still see those moments coming off of 2 where, he's having to turn right as much as he is left a little bit. you know what a handful this truck is for these drivers tonight. You
do indeed. He has pulled back out to a 1.8 second advantage over over Chad Winstead and Ryan O'Donohue. There they run. Matt Sisler in the 3 birdies machine is 4th, and so he looks poised to extend his top 5 streak. There's Chuck Sweeting. He runs along in 5th. Sweeting has about 4 seconds in hand over Crash Neon, who has 12 seconds. He was 12 seconds ahead of David Dunwoody, and Dunwoody has been caught by Ken Olland, and so there's Dunwoody. Ken Olland continues to run along in 8th. Kendall Paul is 9th. Kendall Paul is a lap down to these trucks, but Kendall Paul, just by virtue of continuing to circulate, he is going to run 9th tonight, assuming he stays where he is and he's on his own lap. Paul Witt has retired his truck, and that's going to promote this man, Lewis Hayes, to 10th. How about that?
That's fighting for everything that you can get. For Lewis Hayes to have had the events that he's had happen to him and still be able to come out and flirt with the top 10 the way that he has. So that I hope that gives him some consolation for the night that he's had.
It's not flirting. He's got it. He's got it by a lap over Billy Elwell. make that 2 laps almost, because he's pulling up to put another lap on Elwell. Elwell smacks the exit of turn 2 wall hard. I don't think there's any tires left on that number 67. And Billy Elwell is going to pull it back down pit lane. Paul Witt has retired his machine. Jeremy Dunwoody is still circulating, and Dunwoody might be able to make up that lap on, or make up that position on Paul Witt. He's 4 laps down to Witt with 6 to go, Sam. So keep an eye on that. Jeremy Dunwoody is a playoff truck, and so he may be able to make up one more spot on Paul Witt.
Well, that's very possible. If Paul Witt's called it a night, then I think, and he actually has, as you said, as long as Jeremy Dunwoody stays on the racetrack, it looks like he may make up one spot at least.
Yes, it is.
And depending on if Billy Elwell stays out on the track or not.
That is very true.
He's taking tires this time.
Yeah, Billy Elwell is on the pit lane and is taking tires. The closest battle that we have on the racetrack is this one. It's Matt Sizzler in 4th, and he's being chased by the 75 of Chuck Sweeting. Sweeting is marginally faster and may have time to do this. Sizzler last time through came in at 32.991 and just about the same speed, 32.982. But Sweeting had been closing that down by a couple of tenths a lap over the last several. They run the same speed that time with 4 to go. We'll keep you posted. It's been all this man right here, Chad Dulabon, one more time tonight, Sam.
It sure has, and I really thought at the beginning of the race that he was going to be the guy to beat, just simply because what we've seen this season with his ability to really save the truck and save tire and be so effective on the long runs. And we've had some green flag racing in this series, and anytime that there is green flag racing, it seems like Chad Dulabon rises to the occasion, and we're seeing that again tonight, especially at a track that demands it.
Yes, it does. Billy Elwell has come back out, and so he will secure that 11th spot. You see him coming off of pit road. The only real question that remains is Chuck Sweeting going to get by Matt Sizzler for 4th, and is Jeremy Dunwoody going to make up the position on Paul Witt?
It's going to come right down to the checker flag on that particular issue.
I think, well, he's on the same lap now, so Jeremy Dunwoody may be able to do it. Chad Dulabon is coming off of turn 4. He's got the white flag. This is the final lap from the Too Tough to Tame 200 in the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series. Dulabon has been the dominant truck tonight. He's led 117 of the scheduled 147. We'll make that 118. He is going to pull right up to the back of He's going to pull up right to the back of David Dunwoody, but he's not going to put him a lap down. Dunwoody will remain on the lead lap.
Congratulations to Chad Dulabon for a fantastic run and showing tonight. He's probably marking his territory, so to speak, as far as these other playoff drivers are concerned, and letting them know that if they're going to win a championship, they're going to have to go through him to do it.
Yes, he is. Everybody has now come through except the aforementioned David Dunwoody and Kendall Paul. There's Kendall Paul across the line. He will finish in 9th spot. And there's David Dunwoody. He'll bring it home in 7th. A great run for David Dunwoody, given his past issues here at Darlington.
Well, a big shout out to Kendall Paul. I mean, not even out of the second turn at the beginning of the race on the first lap, he gets loose and collects the wall and gets hit, and he manages with all the damage that he incurred in that particular caution at the very beginning of the race, and 147 laps later, there he is, 146 on his part, to finish in the top 10 in 9th spot. So just a lot of perseverance on Kendall Paul's part.
Yes, indeed. Chad Dulabon is going to come out of this as your winner. He beats Chad Winstead and Ryan O'Donoghue home for second and third. Matt Sizzler comes home fourth. That extends a pretty impressive streak of top fives for Matt Sizzler. Chuck Sweeting is going to be fifth. Crash Neon, David Dunwoody round out the lead lap. Ken Holland, Kendall Paul, and Lewis Hayes, they'll finish off the top 10. In 11th, it's going to be Billy Elwell. Jeremy Dunwoody perseveres home. He did get past Paul Witt, and so Jeremy Dunwoody is going to be credited with 12th. Paul Witt is 13th. All of these trucks out of the race. John Hutchins 14th. Justin Osterman 15th. Matt Wagner 16th. Jalen Story, Donald Green, Owen Simkovich, and Liam Anderson round out the top 20. Andrew Gates is going to be credited with 21st, and that is the final result here from the Too Tough to Tame 200 in the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series. And I bet we've got some tired drivers, Sam, in the waiting room. What do you think?
They're probably discussing with Chad Doolevon, how do you do it, man? How do you do it?
I just asked Sam Crow how it's done. That's my.
Oh well, you're barking up the wrong tree for that.
That's my thought. We'll give Ryan just a couple of more seconds. There he is, Ryan O'Donohue. It's Murph and it's Sam in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys. I might not have a voice too much longer here, but I got you.
No worries. We'll make it
quick.
Then
I guess my first question is, are you feeling better?
No, not at all. This one, last night took a lot out of me. This one took even more. So, yeah, definitely don't feel great. But this was not a bad race, I guess.
Going fast definitely can cure a lot of what ails you. Give us a quick rundown of your night. We'll let you get out of here.
Yeah. I figured we were probably a second or third place car tonight. Once Chad got by me there, as I tried to push the pace a little in the first stage, I don't know. I was getting tight in 3 and 4 really bad, and I just couldn't turn the dang thing. So made an adjustment to that with brake bias in the second stage and drove in there a little different and got that to work out. And I didn't know how the third stage was going to work out. Figured we weren't going to make a pit stop. We were all good on fuel, and there was no way that tires were going to overlap. If someone came in and tried to run us all down, we weren't going slow enough. So, not bad. Second both stages and third is a good way to start the playoffs for sure. And for how I'm feeling, I'll definitely take it.
Absolutely, friends.
Where do you feel like those drivers ahead of you were a little better, Ryan?
Probably through 3 and 4. I just couldn't get it figured out. I think they were diming in kind of in shallow up to the wall, and Doolebon was definitely driving off a lot straighter, but I found wrapping the bottom it was definitely helping me with my tire where the right front was not happy on the first stage, but that definitely helped in the last stage. Kind of speed throughout the run. The rear started giving up towards the end of that, but yeah, that was where I was definitely getting beat. All in all, I definitely learned something though, being behind them guys.
Not a bad night.
See how you take that education.
Yeah, not a bad night. You finished third. Stay alive in the points deal. You've got Bristol and New Hampshire coming up. With that said, I know you're not feeling good. So friends, family, sponsor, shout-outs, floor is yours, and then get out of here, get you a cup of soup and go to bed, man.
Yeah, 10-4. I'll get some soup. I got cough drops being delivered here by my girlfriend, as always. Thank her. Mass Surgical Supply, Maxima Heatwave, AMA, Great League, Kendall, all the admins. This is going to be a fun playoff run with these guys. Archway Industrial Coatings, Black Magic Studios, Trak Racer, Rogue Energy, Evan Box, Mark, Sam, you guys put on a great show on P1. Hope everybody enjoyed watching this one.
We certainly did. Get out of here. Feel better.
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations, Ryan. Feel better.
Sir. That is Ryan O'Donohue for second place. Let's bring in Chad Winstead. And Chad, You've got Murph, you've got Sam in the P1 broadcasting booth. What'd you think it was going to take to run down the other Chad there, my friend?
I think I just needed a clean racetrack and to not make any mistakes. I think we were running identical there for quite a long time on that last stint, and him and I were just talking. I think it was kind of a combination. I had to lift one time, made like a little micro mistake coming out of two, and then that gave enough of a gap to the very next lap. A lap car kind of cut us off and then brake checked me, and that was kind of all she wrote. So, yeah, Chad ran a hell of a race all night. I mean, he was a little bit better at saving tires than I think all of us were. I think I had the short run speed to compete, but I think that's probably what I needed was a caution and to have the short run speed.
That's always been one of your stronger suits, Chad, is your ability to really fire off on starts and restarts and get the grip early on the tires. And so, I agree with you. I think it'd been interesting at least to see how it would have played out had there been a late race caution. Did you find yourself in the early stages just trying to learn? Is that where you felt like that you were able to, in the last stage, to be able to keep a little bit of pace with Chad Doulabon there in the last stage?
Yeah, absolutely. That first run, I knew we were probably running a bit too hard when Donahue and I checked out. Like I already knew we were running it too hard. I just wanted to see what the tires could take and see what we could do and how bad it would not work out in our favor. So that second stint, I actually feel like I saved the tire the best. I was reeling everybody in and then kind of got caught up in traffic and ended up hitting the wall and falling all the way back to fifth. So that cost me a little bit.
It was a little unusual mistake on your part because even in the first run, I thought that you had long run speed.
Yeah, I just got a little impatient trying to get around. I think it was a 35. Was quite a bit faster and just couldn't make the pass. I was telling my teammates, I was like, I'd be all right here if I could just figure out how to pass. Got impatient and ended up hitting the wall. And, I think I had a shot at Doulabon on that last run. At some point, I was down on his inside and just couldn't quite complete the slide job. I didn't feel confident throwing it all the way up there and, possibly fencing him. So I played it a little conservative, and looking back, maybe I should have sent it.
Well, I don't know, man.
I did see that move late in the race, yeah.
Well, I don't know, man. I mean, I think if you run second at Darlington, you've sent it plenty. So, congratulations on the run, Chad. As always, friends, family, sponsor, shout outs. The floor is yours.
Yeah, first shout outs to the Darlington fence. I painted it quite a few times tonight, so I'm glad it held up.
Well said.
But yeah, any family and friends out there that's watching, Pilot John crew, if anybody's tuned in for this one, thanks for watching, and always thanks to you guys at the P1 or thanks to you guys at P1 for putting this broadcast on. So appreciate you guys.
You're more than welcome, Chad. Get out of here. Keep going fast, having fun, buddy.
Yep. See you guys next time.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations, Chad. Good to see you back on podium.
That is Chad Winstead. We're going to get him out of here, and we're going to bring in the other Chad, and that is the winning Chad Doulabon. You've had some new colors tonight. Chad kind of confused me a little bit, but then again, that's pretty easy. And you debuted him in high style. You lead the most laps. You win the race. Kind of talk to us about your line. I noticed that you run Darlington very similar way I do, which is you get back to the gas pretty late coming off of turn number 4, and you've almost got the truck pointed straight off that bottom. How hard is it to run that line, and what do you think that you benefit from that?
Yeah, this Darlington is tough, man. I'd like to run flat out on the edge, and Darlington is the complete opposite. You just gotta, just about roll the center, get your truck pointed back straight before you get back in the gas, try and save that right front. You gotta be patient. It's hard to do when you want to go faster.
Yeah, well, patient and consistent, Chad. Once again, man, they say cream rises to the top, then that would make you heavy cream, right?
I guess so, yeah.
The best of the best. And so I only saw really one one hiccup tonight late in that last stage where you kind of got in the wall and the wall glue got you a little bit, but yeah, you picked it up really quick after that mistake.
Yeah, I hit the wall there in that late run. Like I said, you got to be so patient with the throttle to stay. You just got to be consistent. You can't get back in the gas at all.
Right.
You burn your tires up. You'll go backwards pretty quick.
Well, that's one thing that you did not do tonight, Chad, was go backwards. Again, 118 out of 147 laps led. Heck of a show. Thank you so much for joining us in the booth. With that, you get the mic. Friends, family, sponsors, shout-outs. The floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah, shout out to all the people watching the broadcast. Felix up north, go Buckeyes. Fox Creek getting their first win tonight. That's good. And just Sam, Mark, P1, AMA. Appreciate everything y'all do.
We appreciate you too, buddy. Get out of here.
Fine drive tonight, Deb.
What's that?
I said it was a fine drive tonight. Great job.
All right, thank you. Yeah.
Yes, it was. Keep going fast, having fun. We'll see you at the next one. And that is Chad Dulabon. He is tonight's winner. And Sam, kind of a different race than we thought. We always say that it was different than we thought, but this one, I thought that we were going to be faced with a lot of cautions, which is what Darlington typically is. In this one, though, we had the one big wreck early.
That first caution really jumbled up so much of what this race could have been. Just so many trucks were affected, and the quality of racing that we might have seen had drivers like Kendall Paul or Lewis Hayes or some of those other drivers had not gotten so much damage early on that first lap of the event. And so there's just so many variables that play out when you have 4 to 5 trucks that are taken out on the very first lap. I think that played a big part on why you saw these drivers settle in and just race the track instead of racing each other so hard.
Yes, indeed. Speaking of variables, if you like those, tune it back in tomorrow here at P1, 2 o'clock. It's going to be the championship finale of the 2025 iRacing IndyCar Series presented by 40 Raceway. Again, 2 o'clock tomorrow right here on P1. We're going to skip the weekend. On Tuesday, it'll be the championship finale of the IndyCar Oval Series presented by Techtopia. That'll be at 8:15 Tuesday night. A special Wednesday night presentation of the IndyCar Open Series Top Split is going to happen on Wednesday at 8. Thursday and Friday, Sam and I are going to be right back here on P1 with you. It's the Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series live from Gateway. That's on Thursday, and the Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series. That happens on Friday. Both of those 8:20 starts, or 8:20 broadcasts for the pre-race and 8:35 green flags. We'd be remiss. First of all, we want to thank all the competitors, all the fans that joined us. Another nice crowd here tonight for the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series. If you haven't already done it, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the channel. But also, we want to make sure we thank the people that really make it possible. The police, the fire, the military, the EMTs driving the ambulance, and the nurses that are in the emergency room to treat you when you get there. From the bottom of our hearts, we thank you. Sam, enjoy your long weekend, brother.
I hope everyone's safe for Labor Day, and we appreciate everything that you all do. Thank you so much.
We most certainly do. I think I'm gonna eat the rest of the Rolaids for dinner and go to sleep. Good night, y'all.
Good night, everybody.